Welcome to the channel. This time around I'll be doing an air filter for the 64 Suzuki. What I have is the original one, and I'm not too sure if it's original from the factory or I know it's the one that came with the bike, but as in the engine video I've done previously, this thing is block solid. It's basically brick. So I'm going to try to convert it over to a foam type filter in this episode. I've done it before, the Kawasaki 440 LTD. I made one for that. It wasn't all that difficult, and I'll see if I can do the same thing for this guy. And if you can see this thing, it is really ancient. It's got a cardboard top, and there's years of, I guess, dirt for sure, and it looks like oil, so the engine may have been puking back a little bit. I don't know. Anyways, I know it doesn't flow because when I had it on the bike and running it, I couldn't get it over half the regular RPM they can get out of these two strokes. It would just like choke down. So I'm going to build one out of foam and see how that works. Since foam has no rigidity to it, I'm going to have to build a backing. And what I've used before is this, it's hard to see with the white background, this mesh I just got at it. I think I got it at the hardware store. I could have got it at the big box store. I don't know. It's readily available anyway. Maybe you can see better with the background here. But anyway, I'll use that, form the inside. And this is not shaped yet. But basically, that's going to go on the inside of the filter to give me some kind of rigid backing for it. So I'll start with that, and I've got this just a leftover from the last project. I've got some coming in. It should be in a couple days, so it'll give me a chance to do this at a nice, easy pace. So I have the mesh done and fitting it inside the original filter. Haven't taken anything apart yet, and it looks like it'll go. So at this point in time, I'm going to have to take the filter apart, keep the base, and use the base once it's cleaned up again with the mesh and the new filter. Here I am cutting the filter apart using a razor blade knife. It's kind of fighting me along the way here. It doesn't want to come apart. It's kind of like a rubbery texture. It's kind of crumbly. So it finally came off, and the thing was really not sealed at all, so well, you can use that as a fan. So I'll clean up the base. Time to clean the base up. It wasn't too bad. The sealant wasn't all that fresh, so it let go pretty quickly. This is where I realized that, oops, I cut it a little bit too short, so I have to put a patch in there. So what I used was the piece I cut out. There it is. And I'll stitch it in there with 20 thousandths stainless steel safety wire. And it works really well. It's flexible, and it's quite resilient. So put the extra piece in there. That'll make up the difference. Didn't want to start right over again, so just put that in place, and then I'll have to seal it to the base when that's all done. Just finishing the stitching on the mesh, and it's quite rigid. It fits in the base nice, and you can see the patch there. So it's going to be good and solid. It's ready to be sealed to the base. This is the cover. I'll be using that as a template to build the actual cover. And there's going to be an internal one, so I can seal them and rivet them together. So it'll be a nice solid base for the foam filter. I use 304 stainless. This is 19 thousandths of an inch thick. Works really nice. I've been using this for years, and I like working with this stuff. Okay, it cured overnight. I just got whatever I had in that little tube. I've got a bigger tube there now, so I'll do that later. But right now I'm going to put the top plate on and see how well that goes. It should go all right. So what I've done is I have actually polished this end a little bit, so I don't know, dolled it up a little bit. What I've done previously is I marked the two pieces so that they go back the same orientation, because otherwise, who knows, the angles may be different. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll flip this guy this way, put it in the cage. There you go. And this guy will go in this direction. What I will proceed with silicone and goober up. Oh yeah, look at that, a big pocket of air already. Here you have it, the foam came in, so I'll unpackage it and use it to build a filter. Get rid of this. I use this in most of my products. I did the Kawasaki, 2 filters on the CB350 and the filter on the CM91. So, there you have it. I got enough for a couple more filters. So what I'll do here is I'll get the width, this dimension. I'll make it a little bit wider, so and I can cut it back once it's it has sealed, when I seal the edges. So let's see, how are we going to go about doing this? First I want to see if I've got enough in one section. To do, yeah, oh, it's almost perfect. All right, that's good. So I'll just mark it, make it a little bit wider. I found that these little Velcro strips hold really good on the filter, so that's going to be my method of containing it. Install this one crooked. Put a little strain on it. Beauty. There you have it. Here we go, it cured overnight. I got a little bit of excess on the edges. That shouldn't affect anything. So I'll take off the Velcro. Good and solid. I just got to trim the edges a wee bit. Now, one more thing I have to do first, before I say it's done, is it needs a gasket to seal against the housing. So, just put this stuff on there. This is a thin one. It's really easy to apply, no doubt about that. Whoops. Give it a little snip. Butt the ends. There we go. Get the housing. I may have to snip this end a bit more. Well, that's a little tighter than I wanted it. Well, this final product, it looks good. I even compressed it a little bit with Velcro ties, but the problem I'm seeing is once it's in the bike, put in the housing, and I don't think there's enough gap between the filter element and the outer housing to provide proper airflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this aside in case I decide to go off-roading and not use the housing. And it's 5/8 thick. And what I've done is I bought some BF4, which is 60 pores per inch, which is only 3/8 of an inch thick. And that should be thin enough to get in the housing and give me enough airflow. I just don't want to restrict it like it was with the original paper air filter. Anyway, I'll make another one like this except with the black stuff, and I think that'll be a lot better. Okay, the BF4 is now cured, the silicone that is, and you can see that it's thinner. It's a 1/4 inch thinner than the BF1. This has 65 pores per inch. This has 60 pores per inch. But it should work fine. If I decide to do any off-roading, I'll use this without the cover. And for regular use, which is probably most of its life now, is going to be the thinner one with a cover, and that should be plenty good. It should be a wee bit quieter with the cover on. So that's where I'm going to run it now. And if I decide to get some exciting off-road stuff, not too exciting, I'll put on the BF1 again. So you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'll put it back together. So let's see. Stick it in here. Stuff's easy to work with. Great stuff. I'll just tuck it in under the lip. This one I can. The other one was too thick. I couldn't do it. On my CB350, it was no issue because there was no restriction there. So I used the BF1 on the CB350. And the same thing on the Kawasaki 440 LTD. And they've both been go-to bikes since the restoration. The CB350 is due for a redo. So let's go in here. lots of room for airflow. So this will be ideal for the street. There you have it. The other thing I do is I just put transmission oil in your ATF, and that's what I've been using. Oh man, more years than I care to tell you. So yeah, and it's worked fine. I've never seized an engine. The engine here did have a seized piston at one time before I got it, but who knows? Maybe it didn't receive any maintenance, and maybe the wrong fuel oil mixture. I don't know. In 60 years, a lot of things can happen. So I'll install this on the bike and do a road test. And I'm starting to get to see the end of it for now. Like I say, this is not a restoration. I'm just getting it running, and I want to get ready to go to the Vintage Fest in next month. So let's. There you have it. The air filter is assembled, installed, and the cover put on. It's quite a bit quieter than it was before, which makes sense. I took it for a run, and it seems to be okay. It smoked a little bit at first, but that may have been because I kind of over-soaked the air filter with transmission oil. But it cleared up really quickly. But it's no powerhouse by any stretch of imagination. It's 7.3 horsepower. That's 7,000 RPM, according to the specifications. And they claim it'll do 60 miles an hour. I've yet to see that. 45 seems to be maximum for this thing. But the good thing is it should get 154 miles to the gallon. So I guess that's a bonus there. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.